I'll manage it for me, that's fine. Thank you everybody for coming here and taking time out on a Saturday. I think it's an issue close to all of our hearts, all of us residents living over here. So before I begin, I just wanted to give you a little bit about Be Safe, Feel Safe group, because I suppose you will see this and see it. So just who we are and why we came about. So about 6 months ago, we had a burglary in our house. We live in Bolton, and it was a very traumatizing experience. I saw the burglars as well as I was driving away. So to come home to see the house ransacked, we lost jewelry, we lost laptops, and all this happened. But what happened in addition to that was I saw the fear in the eyes of our neighbors and them thinking they're the next target. And I think that was what set this whole thing off. It wasn't about the safety of one person. It wasn't the safety about just me. It was the safety of the community and how we can come together and ensure that we are safe. And that's what led to this movement, or whatever you want to call it, the Be Safe, Feel Safe group. Now it's run voluntarily by residents living in Washington, Gale, Hale Barnes, Kimberley, Sale, and Broad Heath, and Bolton. None of us make any money from this. We're putting in our own time. Everybody's got a day job. So it's spectacular, the kind of energy everybody involved in these meetings puts in. There's a lot of work that happens. You can see all the people doing the registrations and everything. The busy plodding away. So that's who we are. So the agenda, this is what I'm doing. I'll just kind of set the focus of the meeting, why we're here, what the problem really is, and what we want to achieve from it as a group of residents who are concerned about our safety. And that's why we have an esteemed panel of speakers over here. So we've got, before we start off with the speakers, we want to always give priority to the residents, just to set the scene and let people know about, some stories from amongst ourselves. We have a few people speaking. There's one person who didn't want to get identified, and I think that's quite sad, that she felt if she came out and spoke, she may be identified by the people who tried to burgle her house. This was an attempted burglary. So I do have another resident, Linda, here, who's going to read it out. Did you get the paper? That's fine. So I haven't changed anything, any mistakes or from whatever came from there. We've got Sir Graham Brady in our midst, and we're very, very happy that you came here and you're giving us your time. So we will, as I said, ask you to give a little bit of your talk and then also close it at the end. We have received apologies this morning from Claire Monaghan, who is the Director of Police Crime and Criminal Justice from GMCA. She's unwell, but she has promised to give us some time to discuss the issues we have. We have Superintendent Caroline Hemingway and Inspector John Evans. They have been our regulars, especially Inspector John, from the first meeting. Extremely helpful, and it's great that the police is working so closely with the community. We'll then just have a small 10-minute Q&A session, just to let people ask questions, but it will be a tight schedule, so I'm sorry, we will have a slightly longer one at the end. And then we've got Gwyneth Delman with Justice of Peace over here from the magistrates. And she'll give us an update about the magistrates in the community and what they do. And then there's Helen Brown and Councillor Mike Freeman over here, who are going to tell us a little bit more about what's happening in the different council. And then we've got Caroline. Now these are the committee members. There she is. She's going to tell us a bit about how to set up neighbourhood watch schemes, kind of like a step-by-step procedure, and how to basically start engaging as a community. And then we have Ash over there, who's going to actually tell you a real-life incident where this neighbourhood watch scheme worked and how effective it can be. And then just a few things about how to join the Be Safe, Feel Safe group if you want to, and how you can volunteer to help. So that's it. and then obviously we do have a Q&A session at the end. So again, I think it's quite obvious what the problem is. The problem really is that we do see a lot of organized crime. We see burglaries, we see attempted burglaries, we see now a lot more aggressive ones happening with weapons, and it's increasing. We have a lot of car thefts happening, and I know that, you know, the stats may not show it, but what we did was we have our own WhatsApp group, our Be Safe, Feel Safe WhatsApp group, which is very active, and we do get to know from the community itself, from the residents itself, what's happening. So we've collected a bit of stats, and thank you to Praveen for sorting out the graphics and how to present it. So residents obviously are feeling vulnerable, we feel targeted, and we want to do something about it. There are issues that are coming about. I think some of the areas that we thought were traditionally very safe don't feel very safe any longer. You know, whether it's points of entry from within shore or you know, close to motorways. We do worry when we look at our homes, or when we go to wanting to buy a home, we look at these aspects. And what we don't want is that for the area to convert from being a traditionally safe place to a place that, oh, you know, there are a lot of burglaries that happen there. We don't want that to happen. Of course, like I said, a lot of weapons are now being used. We have both knives, machetes, we have like a whole range coming out all the time, so it's very, very scary. And the mysteries of quite number. I keep telling Inspector John we need to do something about it, and I came up with a suggestion, which John said, you can tell Sir Graham about it, and then maybe, you know, it can be taken up, but I will present it. And also just wanted to focus, it's not just about, you know, increasing police numbers. We're going to see an impact on the NHS. We're going to see people with depression, with mental health issues, because they've gone through the trauma of the burglary. We're going to see an impact on that as well. We're going to see an impact on local businesses. We're going to see an impact on housing and collectively the local economy. So it's not just one small aspect, it's the totality of things. So just a few statistics which we have gathered. Now the disclaimer, these stats are based on the reports that have been gathered directly from members of the Be Safe, Feel Safe WhatsApp group, and this is not official data, it's unofficial data. Between March and September, March is when this group was set up. Between March and September, we've had about 100 burglaries. We've had a few more arrests. We've had 3 arrests separately, but we've had a burglary and arrest, 2 of them. We've had 6 robberies, 15 suspicious activities, 3 armed robberies, 1 assault, 1 assault and attempted burglary, actually 2 assaults and, yeah, 1 was an attempted burglary and 1 was a burglary, and 15 attempted burglaries, so about 144 incidents in our area between March and September, and these are only things that we have heard about. We don't know, there may be more, obviously not everybody is in the group. Month-wise, we saw quite a few happening in March, that we got burgled as well. So we are one of them, and it does not include, so these stats actually remove the 15 suspicious activities. We don't have them over here. So they're about, so we've seen a peak in March, and then you see there's a peak in August, which is really when we felt it as well. You know, as residents, we felt it, and we felt the dip as well. So we get to know, just, you know, by what's happening around us, that it's a peak time and it's a, you know, off-peak time. So we'll be scared for coming to December. Now, incidents by area. Now, again, this does not include the 15 suspicious activities, most of which were actually in jail bonds and suspicious activities. Now, these are, again, things that we will inform about. We see a lot of incidents which have happened in jail, and obviously followed by sale. We spent our jail bonds, then Borden, Altrincham, Symphony. We've got some others as well. Now around Park Road, there were 10. Now Park Road is a long stretch. So when somebody tells us Park Road, we don't really know which area of Park Road that's happening. So we just clustered separately. So yes, those are the stats we have, and really, we're really happy to share it with yourself if you want to. But we just wanted to let you all know, as a community, what we've been sort of trying to do. And thank you to Shana. She really plowed away and got the stats sorted out. It really meant going through every WhatsApp message and pulling out data. So thank you to her when she just hiding that out all that. All right. Okay. So why do we think now we're not politically correct? Why do we think? And this is also coming from one of our committee members who feels very strongly he couldn't be here. And I'll refer to him as Mr. N because he doesn't want the wider publicity. But things that people, just us ordinary people, think, why is this problem happening? We think that criminals don't have any fear. They're not fearful. They're not fearful of the law. And sometimes you think, there's a report on the 5th of September that 7 arrests have been made by the police, and there was a huge applaud in the group, and everybody was really, really happy. And then a few days later, we heard none of them were sentenced, and then everything dipped, which is a consequence why one of these residents doesn't want to come up and speak. So you see the impact it's happening, and that's why we wanted, someone from the magistrates to come here to see the impact it has on us. Now they're being emboldened by each successful attack, and obviously if they're not caught, they go on to the next one, the next one, the next one. And they're now getting into more weapon-based assault attempts and burglaries. They probably are aware that the police are stretched and they can't be everywhere. Burglary, importance is a bit low, and if we know it, they know it. Is how we see it. Again, there's been an influx of criminals from all sorts of areas. We know Wythenshawe, there's Liverpool, other areas close to the motorway. We know there are people coming in from different sides, and it makes you feel a little jittery. You don't know whether it's just a few gangs, or whether it's one gang, or are they just one random individual. We don't know who it is who's doing it. And obviously people know that these are so-called affluent areas. I don't know, I've still not been able to understand it. You work hard to live here and buy a home here, how it gives anybody the right to enter your property and take things away from you. I don't understand that. So, typically affluent areas we're being targeted. So, how do we think we can try and solve the problem? Obviously, what we don't want is a situation where we leave it and this area goes down, and then a lot of money has to be pumped into this to regenerate the area. Why let it get to that stage? So let's try and sort it out now. So what I think we've covered that. We have Hale Civic Society as well, if I can mention, who's looking at Hale, and there are a lot of things happening in Hale. The stats reflect it as well. And Councillor Patricia Young is there, and there are other people in the police is working with them to try and sort out issues in Hale. So I think the Britannia Ashley Hotel issue is probably sorted. Because of the ex-offenders over there, and the notion that perhaps a lot of the crime in that area was happening because of that. And I'm sure the police will update us on it. What we would like is that these gangs are identified, arrested, and then apprehended. It has to, the arrest is wonderful, but there has to be some sentencing at the end of it to put them behind bars. We have to break that nexus. And of course, as a community, what we need to do is set up more of these neighborhood watch schemes, know our neighbors. It is, well, not just the most wonderful thing, but it's also the most effective thing. If you're going away, you know that you can let the neighbor know when you're going away. When when an alarm goes off, the street will be out to go and check it. Just that community feel, it is brilliant. And Ash will tell you a real life instance in her case. Obviously, Helen is going to tell you a little bit more about this, but do report things that are suspicious. obviously inform your neighborhood, call 101. There's lots of ways of informing. The GMP website has got an area where you can inform them, and then you can also go into the live chat, and it also helps with the stats. And obviously improve your home and personal security. We need to have some security, unfortunately, in our houses. Now, obviously, why we have this esteemed panel is to ensure that we can get police numbers allocated to South Trafford. We do need more police. They are stretched, we know it. We need to sort this out because people are taking advantage of the situation. We really do need to sort it out. So, of course, lot more police presence 24/7, motorized, on foot. I think Hale has had a few police on horseback. If that's not possible, of course, just police presence is important for us, and more stop and searches. And then obviously, raising the priority of burglary. When the priority is risen, and we have special burglary units reinstated like we did, then we do see it has a positive impact. It does lower crime. Obviously, tougher sentencing of criminals. Parole services, more effective parole services. I think it was part of the government body. Now it's been outsourced. So I think bringing it back to the base and having those effective parole services to stop reoffenders is also key. I think the people who burgled ours were reoffending. They were still within that period, whatever they call it. And the balaclava, I think if there is a need for it, keep it transparent. It doesn't have to be black. It doesn't have to cover your entire face. If it's just to stop the wind for bikers, it can be transparent. The job's done, but the face can be seen. And I think these burgers find it really easy. It's £2.50 on Amazon. Buy it and wear it. How easy is it? And it's legal to carry it, so it just will stop it from being a legal thing to carry. Sorry,